Morning all, it is November 6th, I think, 2021, and wanted to share some news with you guys. In the coming months, I'm going to be building my own drum tracking room and moving a lot of my remote tracking and overdub stuff to my own place. For the last year, let's see if I can figure out how to flip the camera around. For the last couple of years, I have had my own mix and production room here, and I absolutely love it. I'm doing great work out of it. Love what it does. It's a great place to host clients and everything. And I'm going to be putting a tracking room directly beneath, if you could see through the floor. Hold on, I'll take you down and show you. Okay, so walk down with me, if you will, or allow me to carry you gently down the stairs here. This used to be a garage that was filled with nothing but junk. No cars, mind you, just junk and stuff and things. And we're going to turn this into my new remote tracking room. Fairly sizable dimensions, and we are going to build it just like we built the rooms over at Plethertone, a room within a room. So I'm going to come out from each wall, probably about 4.5 inches or so, have about 20 inches in front of the garage door, and the garage door will still work and function kind of as one of the main load-in spots. I have, first of all, installed a high-lift garage door kit, courtesy of DDM Garage Doors. They were awesome. You take a whole bunch of measurements and do a bunch of legwork, and then they compute everything and send you the kit parts you need. You'll notice that there is no longer a garage door opener that was hanging from the center. Actually, it looks like a little face, doesn't it? It looks like a very unimpressed face. I promise you, face of electronics, you will be impressed with what we're going to build down here. That was stupid. Maybe I'll edit that out. So, got rid of the garage door opener that pulls on the door and replaced it with a LiftMaster 8500. Sounds like a made-up thing, but I mean, I guess it's what I call my garage door opener if I made it. I don't know if you can see, it's kind of dark up in that corner. But the cool thing about this opener is it actually turns the bar itself rather than pulling on the door. You have to raise the garage door by a certain amount, and you have to do that on an angle. So I had to cut portions from my previously long horizontal track, cut it at an angle, reattach it with all the brackets and everything they give, and move everything upwards. So now I have less than a foot up at the top that gets taken up with the door. The door will still operate, and that leaves room for all my framing. You'll also notice this huge hole in the ceiling. That is because there was previously a soffit, a drywall soffit with studs behind it, and you can see in that corner over there the AC duct that was feeding the mix room upstairs. There are a couple spots where it was feeding in. 3 different vents actually, and I've kind of used some metal tape and some other things to close those up. There's a vent there, there's another one there, pretty much anywhere you don't see insulation. And then there's also a third vent that is a duct that travels this way through the ceiling to a third vent over on the other side. Okay, so follow me over this way now. We're going to take a look at the crawl space, the haunted space of every house, and I've got some plans for this here. Let me flip the camera around. Previously, this crawl space was where I kept all the bodies of my enemies, and I would nourish the ground with their blood and various fluids, and then I would take that dirt and I would sell it on the internet. I hope that you two can tell when you're kidding about things. This is my crawl space. It is really just a place for the hot water heater. So I had a handyman that I have known for a long time, helped us with the last studio and everything. He's awesome. He came in and put in this wonderful concrete thing that my son apparently wrote in. What did he write? Sup broski. Brush Boys 21. Okay, there you go. Well, let's see how he feels about that message in a decade's time. And this concrete now allows me to have a place to store things, or I don't know, perhaps put in a microphone or something like that, or amps or something. Who knows, man? It'll be super cool. And of course, we're under the staircase now, and then we will have walked through the door into where the tracking room hopefully will be. So check out, follow along for more updates. Okay, today's project in the garage: stairs, These stairs have been here since the house was built. They're just plywood stairs, and with the help of my own two hands, many tools, and God above, I will hopefully transition these stairs into something a little bit more aesthetically pleasing to walk down to. So I feel like I'm walking into something creative when I come into work. And this whole space here, which is just drywall right now, that will end up being painted and lighting fixtures changed and everything, making it just hopefully a more inspirational looking space. And it'll also be an echo chamber. I've got some cool plans, putting in a mic panel kind of over and being able to do some cool effects with stuff that way, because I'm always looking for fun stuff to do with mics. All right. Okay, studio update. It is the 15th of November. I got up early this morning. This isn't early this morning, this is the evening. And I have been working on the stairs all week in between other work and projects. And I don't know if you can see, but it's impressive to me, first of all, that I was able to build these. Second of all, let me get this set up here. Yes, so using a beautiful dark wood stain. I've got the new oak treads and the bullnose parts on. I added these sideboards, of course, which did not exist before, and yeah, hopefully we'll get to where we need to go. Well, here's a little update. It's December 1st, actually, and got some of these unsightly places drywalled that are going to end up being seen when you come down the stairs into the studio. Where I'm standing now, of course, will be in the studio. These walls are just going to remain stud walls because no one's going to see them. So why spend the money? It wasn't that way when the house was built for me. And then, of course, behind me here in the stairwell, because it occurred to me in this little stairwell underneath where you could just see the steps. This is going to be walled in. Honestly, the wall will come about within an inch of this area right here. So this will end up being almost like a room, in which case, why not wall it in? Never know when you want to put an amp or something like that in there. So awesome. Okay, garage is clean. Well, as clean as you're going to get this garage. I took up the oil stains, and honestly, man, this is that purple degreaser stuff. That worked great to take up the stains. Had to use several applications. And then I rented one of those Green Machine carpet cleaners. I didn't think it would work, but my studio partner, when we built Pletherton together, said, you know what, this works great. And it did. It took several passes before I started getting clean water. And the first couple passes I did bleach and water, and then I did just soap and water, and then I did just water, and then finally I did a round of TSP, trisodium phosphate, and water, and also in between I did some things like there. I don't know if you can tell, there's kind of like a little circle of spray paint. I sanded that down. They had some red spray paint in there. Anything that was really obvious and couldn't be removed with stuff, I would try to sand down. I used some filler, crack filler here, and to fill and some epoxy stuff. And I've got my little shop vac there that was helping me out, cleaning everything up wet or dry. And yeah, now I'm ready to stain. Okay, a couple days before Christmas, and now the floor is stained. It did a nice water-based stain after cleaning and cleaning and cleaning and cleaning and cleaning. Then took a gallon of a different color and used a sponge to kind of create parts of interest. Because actually ended up doing such a good job cleaning that by the time I got done with the stain, it didn't have enough character. So I added character back in. Last time I was showing you the floor stained. Now I have my little cabinet. I'd be a horrible weatherman. Over here, that's gonna be great for holding tools and other things that I need to keep inside the garage at room temperature, stain, paint, stuff like that everybody has laying around. And now I have 2 chalk lines marking out the boundaries to center my first piece of pressure treated lumber. We're going to measure it from this wall, and then from once I get this bolted down to the concrete, that's going to be the point from which I reference everything else in the build. That way, just in case the walls of the garage aren't as straight and 90 degrees from each other as one would hope, that it doesn't take the whole room and screw with the dimensions. And let me take you over here and show you. Oh yeah, got the wood delivered this morning. It's freaking awesome. So this is my studio right here. I'm so excited. Walker Lumber Company, great lumber company. I quoted a bunch of people and that was the best one. Beat Home Depot and all that stuff. So yeah, so here's my computer. I'm using Google SketchUp. This is the model of the room, and you can see there's barely any room around the outside of it for the rest of the garage. So it'll come about 2 inches or so off this wall, about 2.5 inches off that wall, 1 inch off that pony wall there where the stairs are, and then it'll leave about 20 inches in the front, so the garage door can still work, and it'll account for the curvature in the tracks, and I'll have a load-in door on the side, as well as, of course, 2 doors, one that's almost exactly lined up with the one that you currently see now into the crawl space there, and then one that's on that side that will lead to the stairs that will go up into the house. So, okay, gentlemen, check it out. In the midst of redoing the stairs, stained floor, and as of today, I have laid down the foundation. Okay, New Year's Eve, 2021, about to be 2022. Had a lovely evening with some friends, came back, felt like doing a little bit more work. Well, it was nice and cool. You see, I've got all the, I'm gonna flip it around here. You see, I have all of the boards measured out and bolted down here to the concrete using nice 3/8 inch red heads there. It was all hammer drilling and everything for the last couple days, measuring things out. So that's the whole layout of the room. I'm standing in what will be the room, and looky, we got our first wall. Got it tacked to the wall over here temporarily to hold it. Obviously, we'll remove that later when we get the other one done. But yeah, man, progress. Okay, another day is at its end. Got the wall from yesterday. Added to it another 8 foot, 4.5 section. And then I've got this 8 foot, 4.5 section of wall. And it's 12 foot brother here already made on the ground. But as you can see, I'm short on cross pieces. Have to cut some more studs tomorrow in order to have the leftovers for the cross pieces. And I don't feel like cutting anymore because it's raining outside. I don't want to go get them from the lumber pile, especially after I stapled the plastic to it with all the weather we've been having so it doesn't blow away. Blah, 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 blah. Update time. Check this out. We have all the walls up, all the doorways marked. Everything's looking good. Hopefully we'll be hanging some joists fairly soon. And man, talk about precision. I'm so glad I drew this out on the computer first. Here, let me open the garage door so you can see this. Trust me, it's worth it. Look at this precision. So I'll still be able to have a working garage door, which is awesome. Look at that. Everything measures out perfectly. Nothing or touching anything else. Awesome. And then you can load in through this door right here. Okay, this is obviously the stairway, which I've documented fairly well at this point. Still unpainted. Still could use another round of caulk. Obviously the drywall's in, you know, gross condition around it and everything, but we'll fix that up and have it look nice. And then here, you know, is the framing. All the framing I've done with spots for the doors. I haven't yet cut out the foot plates for the doors where they should go, because we'll do that. It's one of the last things. Then we've got, I think I've already done this, but we've got all the joists in place, which is awesome. All the electrical's been run. I've got the 100 amp sub panel down here, no breakers in it yet. Gonna let the electrician do that so I don't kill myself by accident. And I have 3 circuits that I'm working on right now. There's 40 amps will eventually be required, I think, for the AC, which, you know, is gonna go around meow, and then there'll be one upstairs in the control room. And then the rest, that gives me about 60 amps to play with. I've got 2 20 amp circuits for power, which I have roughed in. Outlets just kind of around the walls here, all labeled if you get in close enough. Then the light 15-inch Romex for my lighting circuit, which is a 15 amp circuit. So what does that come to? That ends up being like what, not quite 60, about 55 or so. And that works just fine. I plan to have a projector hanging from the ceiling. We'll see how well it works. And you know, hopefully a screen right about there, and that's where I'll be able to project either, you know, Pro Tools when I'm working, or I don't know, some sort of video on repeat of fancy scenery, so it can feel a little bit more like I've got a window or something. Tying in some lighting in here to the original lighting that was here in the garage on the garage circuit, and that looks to be for track lights that give just a general sense of light in the room. And then my other circuits here actually are going to be outlets, but are controlled by switches, by three-way switches, so I can switch on and off some of the LED lighting and stuff that I'm hoping to have in here to create more of a vibe. All the audio wires in, using all Belden wire for the audio stuff, and then monoprice speaker wire for speaker wire lines, just in case we want to have a head somewhere else and do a cab in another place. And then running Cat 5, actually Cat 6 wire for all the, for not only monitoring, which will be through Cat 5, I believe, protocol with the Behringer system, the Hearback system, but also with adapters and everything, we can do HDMI and USB through that. So that'll be great, because that will allow me to control everything. And just a brief look at that, this little PVC conduit up there, that's going up into the control room. So audio wire comes in, it never touches power. It's always either far away from power if it has to run parallel, or it's 90 degrees if it has to cross it. And that still could be cleaned up a little bit, but this is where we are so far. So all the audio wire comes down. That is my main outlet that's going to feature a nice Redco box with like 32 XLRNs, I think like 6 to 8 Cat 5 tie-ins, so like most of those will be for the monitoring system for Hearback. There'll be a couple that I can use for USB for like a remote control monitor and mouse setup, and then one will go over here to the ceiling to the projector, so I can hook something in here and touch the projector, and then I'll also have a second one to the projector from the control room, so I can hook it directly to the computer up there if I want to. Hopefully sky's the limit. We'll see. There's always hidden little gotchas, that unknown unknowns. The other place the audio comes is here. This will go through into the stairwell, so I'll have a permanent pair of room mics mounted here, and then I'll have enough to plug in a couple more mics or to run tie lines for amps and everything if I want to have a head in one place and a cab in another place, just in case. And then also over here into the room that ends up getting, I'm not trying to make this a room, but it's going to end up being a room simply because it's pretty much walled off from the rest of everything. And these are going to end up being the lines in here. Hello, another studio update. This is, let's see, the last week in February. I now have, as you can see, a mini split unit. I also have one matching upstairs. Both the outside parts are there. They're working. It's great. And as you can see behind that, I have filled it in with all sorts of fluffy insulation in the original garage walls. So now we're starting the process of filling in the actual wall. You can see over here, it's getting kind of dark. You can see over here though that I've got the walls starting to fill in with R13. Have to do all that all the way around, and then we'll do R19 for the ceiling, and we'll be ready for drywall, which is incredible. So glad I'm doing all this stuff in the winter, because it would be so freaking hot otherwise. I'm sweating even now. You can see the indentation in my beard where I've had my breathing mask just finished today, over the weekend here. Sunday, it's near the end of February. What is it, like 26, something like that? Finished the insulation putting in. You can see I think I already showed the AC being in, but it's in regardless, whether I showed you or not. So I have all the insulation in. It's time for drywall. It's exciting.